Busy Friday today. We begin with the Trump Organization. It just got a massive bill from a New York judge for inflating the value of its assets to make more money. That fine, a staggering $354.9 million, a judgment that could shake Trump's real estate empire to its foundations. While the former president and his organization received the largest penalty, his two sons will also have to fork over more than $4 million each, along with his longtime accountant, Alan Weisselberg. Trump is also barred from being an officer of any New York-based company for 3 years. His adult sons, Don Jr. and Eric Trump, are also banned from serving as officers or directors of businesses in New York for 2 years. Judge Arthur Engoron backed away from a prior decision that could have dissolved Trump's companies altogether, known as the corporate death penalty. But the alternative is no easier. Trump has already been fined nearly $500 million in just the past 3 weeks. The judge found that Trump, his company, and several executives lied about assets on financial statements and, as a result, received better loan terms and lower insurance premiums. Trump has denied all wrongdoing and argued the prosecution violated a plethora of legal norms. He calls the verdict un-American, and his lawyers say they plan to appeal, saying, quote, if this decision stands, it will serve as a signal to every single American that New York is no longer open for business. Joining us now to break all of this down is NewsNation legal contributor and Law and Crime Network host Jesse Weber and former federal prosecutor Joseph Moreno. Great to have you both. Jesse, I'll start with you. This 92-page ruling from the judge in the civil fraud case, that massive, massive fine, this is a devastating ruling for Trump.
It's incredibly significant. It's hard to imagine how much worse it could have gotten. I mean, you think about it, it's not just the penalty, it's the language that the judge used here. He used words like they were pathological in the repeated pattern to engage in fraud. And what was so significant, and I went through the 92-page ruling, every one of Donald Trump's defenses, for example, I relied on the accountants, or that the insurance companies and the banks, they weren't harmed. He dismantled each one of them. And that's significant because when you think about an appeal and you think about where Trump can go, it's a judge undercutting those arguments. And that's significant because what we're talking about right now is, will Trump have to pay this up tomorrow? Immediately, he's going to try to halt this. He's trying to ask a higher court to stay this decision, to pause it. And one of the ways that you have to do that is a likelihood that you would win an appeal. That might be very tough after reading Judge Engoron's ruling.
Joseph, as Jesse just said, the judge did go scorched earth in his ruling on Trump and his sons, saying, quote, their complete lack of contrition and remorse borders on pathological. The defendants are incapable of admitting the error of their ways. How much of that refusal to admit any wrongdoing or even a mistake factored into that massive penalty?
I mean, that's great hyperbole. I mean, but it's not surprising. Judge Engoron was hostile to Donald Trump the day before, even before this trial began, right? So none of this is surprising, despite the fact that I had some hope, I had some glimmer of hope that maybe the fine would be proportionate to the purported harm here. And of course, it wasn't. It was exactly what the Attorney General asked for. Look, this really disturbs me. I am really uncomfortable with this entire case, starting with the Attorney General's claim while she was campaigning that she would go after Donald Trump, coupled with the fact that, per the New York Times, this statute has never been used before in the absence of an actual victim. And here we are basically dismantling this business with a tremendous fine. I got to be honest, look. This isn't about defending Donald Trump. This is about being really uncomfortable with the entire way this case was launched. And I hope it gets a very, very critical look on appeal.
Yeah, I was struck by something Donald Trump himself said yesterday, which is, I may be guilty of something, but I'm not guilty of a crime. Do you think that's what he's talking about here?
Well, none of this is a crime, right? This is all civil. But look, I mean, should you inflate the value of your assets? No, you shouldn't do that. But this is not a public company. This is a privately held company. And again, these banks were more than happy to do business with Donald Trump. None of them testified that they wouldn't even continue doing business with him. This is a lawsuit in search of a victim. It's not the way it's supposed to work. So if Judge Engoron had said $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, some symbolic slap on the wrist, I think no problem. That's fine. $360 million in a case where there's no, where does this money even go? The coffers of New York State? It's absurd.
Jesse, your reaction?
Look, I can't disagree with the political ramifications of this. I mean, I think there's a number of issues you could raise in terms of Letitia James bringing this case. What I will say is that, yes, the ruling is quite significant here. And I can't say it's unexpected based on what Judge Engoron was saying during the course of this. I mean, he didn't believe...
the fraud outlined in the ruling wasn't smart. He inflated his apartment size 3 times in order. Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.